Hello, Smarties. It's Wednesday, April 29th, and we're going to be learning our last section of chapter 12, and that is section 8, surface area of prisms. And we're going to cover two types of prisms, rectangular prism and triangular prism. So let's get started. So in the previous sections, we talked about the volume, and we said that the volume was the space inside of the solid. Okay, well, surface area is the area of the outside of the solid, meaning the area of every single face of the solid. To find the surface area in 6th grade, we used to use nets. And when I say nets, these are the nets. This is a net of the rectangular prism, and this is a net of the triangular prism. And remember what we did? We found the areas of similar faces and then added them together. So for example, these two are the same, right? Top and bottom are the same, and then these two sides are the same, right? So we found the areas of these and then added them together, and if you recall, we called it front and back, top and bottom, side, left and right, I believe that's what we used to find the surface area. In this grade, we're not going to do this. We're going to use formulas to help us out. Before we get to the formula, I'm going to talk to you about the lateral area, and I'm going to scroll up a little bit so you get to see this. So again, surface area is found by combining the lateral area with the area of two bases. So in this triangular prism right here, as you can see, the base is a triangle, so we would find these two areas, right? And then we will find the lateral area again, which is the area around the shape, so something like that, right? So if you take a look on the outside, it's going to be front, left, and right back sides. Okay, so this is the lateral area, and that is found by multiplying the perimeter of the base times the height of the prism. So if you were to look in the formula, we have 2 times the area of the base plus perimeter times the height, which represents the lateral area, okay? Area around the prism. Okay, so let's get started with our first awesome example. And I'm going to ask you to find the surface area. I'm going to ask you to find the surface area of this rectangular prism. So that's again 2b plus ph. And ladies and gentlemen, in order to help us remember this a little bit better, I kind of have this sentence. And this sentence is 2 boxes of Pizza Hut. 2 boxes, 2b, of Pizza Hut times pH. I know this might be silly, but you know me, I like to have shortcuts, little phrases, little songs, little hand movements, right, to help us remember, and this is one of those. So if you don't like it, don't use it, but I find it helpful because it helps me remember 2 boxes of Pizza Hut, 2b plus pH. So in this particular example, the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is to find the base. Which side is my base? Okay, so I'm going to highlight my base, and that is, remember, the base of the rectangular prism is the face or the side the shape is sitting on. Now, based on that, I know that 10 and 3 are length and the width of my base. And we also know that the height is perpendicular to the base, so therefore 4 is my height. Okay, now that we have all the information we need to find the surface area, we're going to get started. I like to break down my work, and I like to list the steps so I don't get lost. Again, you do what works for you. and I'm going to do what works for me, right? So the first step will be to find the area of two bases, or 2b. 2 times, and then again my base is 10 and 3, length and width, so I'm just going to multiply 10 times 3, and that's going to be 60 meters squared. That would be the area of two bases. Area of two bases. Now we have to find lateral area, or pH. But before I can do that, my second step, I'm going to find the perimeter separately, okay? Perimeter of the base, the highlighted base. So that would be either adding all the sides, 10 plus 10 plus 3 plus 3, or simply doing 2 times 10 plus 2 times 3, and that should be 26 meters. Whoops, I'm sorry, inches. So 26 inches, not squared because it's simply a perimeter. The third step is your lateral area, or your pH, is found by multiplying the perimeter, which we already know, and that is 26 times the height of the prism, which is 4. And your answer is 104 inches squared, ladies and gentlemen. Again, L, or pH, is lateral area, and area is always squared. Finally, our last step, we're going to find surface area of the entire prism by adding area of bases, which is 60, plus lateral area, which is pH, which is 104 inches squared, and that should give us a total of 164 inches squared, and that should be your final answer. Okay, so the next example, I would like you to do this one on your own. Pause right now and try to solve this, and then compare your answers to me. And I'm going to continue working on this one. So I'm going to highlight my area of the base, which is a rectangle. And I know that height is perpendicular to the base, and that is 1.2 meters. That gives me 1.3 as the length and 1.4 is the width, or the other way around. It doesn't really matter. And we are going to start working. Again, first step is finding the area of two bases, and that is 2 times 1.3 times 1.4, and that would be 3 64 meters squared. Okay. The second step will be to find the perimeter, which is 2 times 1.3 plus 2 times 1.4, 2 times the length plus 2 times the width, equals to, let's see, what is it, 5.4 meters. The third step is to find that lateral area, or pH, and that is perimeter, which is 5.4, times the height, and that is 1.2, and that should give me 6.48 meters squared. Finally, our surface area is going to be found by adding area of two bases plus the lateral area, and that should give me 10 and 12 hundredths meters squared, my final answer. Okay, moving on to the triangular prism. So basically everything is the same, right? The formula is the same. The only difference is now my base is going to be a triangle. I'm going to highlight both bases, right? I'm also going to bring to your attention this little box. It tells me that 12 is the height and the 5 is the base of the triangle. Height and base of the triangle. So let's get started with this example. I'm going to scroll down just a tiny bit. Area of two bases equals to 2 times 5 times 12 divided by 2. And I don't know if you noticed, but you can cross cancel 2 and 2. So 5 times 12 will be 60, and that is feet squared. The second step is to find the perimeter of the triangle, and that is, again, please remember, perimeter of the triangle, which is the base. So we're looking at 1, 2, and 3 sides, right? 3 sides. So 12 plus 5 plus 13, which should give me 30 feet. My third step will be lateral area, or pH. Okay. And that is found by multiplying 30 times, oh, and I forgot to tell you that height, remember height is perpendicular to the base, and that is 3. So times 3, which is 90 feet squared. That is our lateral area, and simply last step would be to add the area of two bases and lateral area, which should give you 150 feet squared as your final answer. Okay, moving on to our last example. Again, try to find the surface area of this triangular prism all on your own, and then compare your answers to mine, okay? So again, just like I said before, we're going to find the base, which is the triangle, okay? And I don't see a little box, but I can easily tell that this is a right angle, so that means this is going to be base and height of the triangle. And since the highlighted area is the base, I know that 4 is going to be the height of the entire prism. Okay, now that I have this, Mark is painting a skateboard ramp like the one shown. Find the surface area. So I'm asked to find the surface area of this ramp. And then we're going to determine how much paint Mark needs to buy based on one cord covers 100 square feet. So as soon as we find the surface area, we will know how much paint he needs to buy. So my first step will be, again, same thing, area of two bases, which is 2 times 5 times 2 divided by 2. I'm going to cross cancel my 2 and 2, and it's going to be 10 feet squared. Second step, I'm going to find the perimeter of the triangle, which is 5 plus 2 plus 5.4. Okay, and that should give me 12 and 4/10 feet. The third step will be to find the lateral area, or pH, and that's going to be 12.4 times the height, and we said it was 4 feet. And the answer for this one is 49.6 feet squared. Okay, 49. And finally, surface area equals to, we're going to add 10 plus 49.6, and that should be 59.6 feet squared, your surface area of the ramp. And ladies and gentlemen, well, we know that one cord covers 100 square feet, and I only need paint to cover 59.6 squared feet. 59.6 square feet. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to show you how much paint we would really need. I'm gonna take 59.6 and divide it by 100, and you will see that you actually need 0.596 or 0.6 quarts. Okay, so a little bit over half the quart of the paint. So ladies and gentlemen, even though he only needs 0.6 of it, he cannot just buy that. He needs to buy the entire quart. So he will buy 1 quart and use 0.6 quarts. Okay. And that concludes our lesson for today on surface area of prisms. Please email me with any questions when you're doing your work. If you don't understand something, I'm right here for you, ready to help you. Don't hesitate to ask. Have a nice day, and I will talk to you next time.